Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to my channel. Tonight, it is Wednesday, March 11th. It is 8. Listen, it's 02, but it should be 01, and I only should be 1 minute late. But here I am talking about what Love is Blind. It's the season 10, honey. We just watched it. It's fresh AF. It's the tell all. So might as well get in. It's the Traitors, also a little bit of this. The season 4 finale will get in on some of what happened there. Obviously, we all know. It's old news, but we're going to wrap up 2 shows, and I'm excited to do so with you, babe. So, hi, get in the room, do what you got to do. Hi, yay! Just say hi to me like you are doing. I love to see people just like getting in for some TV breakdown. So I'm going to give everyone a moment to get in. And by doing that, also just remind you to like this video, just like wherever you are, like it, like the live, just like consider it turning on the light switch in the room. Like there's my light switch of this room. Just turn it on, be like, we like what's happening here. Give it a good, hi. If you, for some reason, just stumble on me, I talk about pop culture and TV all the time. I do so on my YouTube here. Hi, I just dropped a brand new YouTube trailer, by the way. Your girl's been doing it for years, but it's fresh as hell always, just like tonight. And I'm excited to, give you like a version, 3.0 of A, my channel in itself. Also B, yeah, I mean, I just had a birthday. So this is where this energy is coming from, new me, new YouTube channel trailer, new vibe, but also excited to talk about this fresh as hell Love is Blind tell all. Obviously, I've been interested in how Chris and Alex were going to be handled. That's what I'm interested in. Liz, I feel like, okay, we know there might be a surprise here and there or some shocking situation, but inevitably there is someone we need to know what the F went down. And like after some processing, how the hell do you go on TV and do that? And that is obviously, a little bit of the gladiator moment in us, I think. Like I think about like the Roman gladiator kind of like savage, violent desire that humankind has to watch someone get completely eviscerated. And there's not that many times you can do so, let's just say, in a way that like makes sense. But if someone has been quote unquote canceled, or if someone is horrible, or if someone's been bad, it certainly feels good to just watch them suffer. It's kind of like the way we can handle like the lottery or something like that. I mean, humankind is humankind. So having said that, I'm just giving a little opportunity for people to get in. I just want to see what people are saying. Hi, excited to catch you. Yay. As I said that, yay. Kids are down. And with the war on, oh my God. Yep. On in Iran and the mixed feelings. I know Lebanon has impacted, so that impacts you. Yep. My love. Absolutely. So appreciate your lives so much at this time. Thank you so much. God bless everyone. God bless everyone. To find like a place in which like humankind, like, before I even read your comment, I was talking about the human capacity to want evisceration. And there's a part of it that it lies everywhere, I mean, I can say I'm giving myself the excuse that like Chris deserves it. But I also am okay watching someone get humiliated on TV and like be made, to look horrible. And he certainly, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but it's so interesting. There certainly is hardly a capacity in me at all that's like, you know what we should do? Have empathy on Chris and Alex. It's really hard for me to have, I think. Well, no, I have a lot of empathy for people. Unless they've perceived wrong me. And unless they are like a no good, dirty, like bad guy. Bad, usually a male. Oh my God, I'm sure I thought I had. Oh, sorry, babe. I thought I had to put this on. Do not disturb. I'll text her later and tell her. So anyway, God bless. Here we are. So I will. Did you cut your hair for your birthday? I did. So we all have that capacity. War is happening. That's my only point. Don't worry. I have no ADHD plans for this live. Once I start in 10 seconds, I'm going to be very, very focused. Okay. She's on Do Not Disturb. So my loves, let's get in Thank you so much for being here tonight. Hi, it's Love is Blind season 10. We just watched the tell all and season 4 of Traitors. That ended last week. And there was also a tell all. Now here's the thing. I didn't watch the Traitors tell all. No thanks. But I did watch the obviously Love is Blind tell all, and that is what I'm mostly excited to talk about. So I'll start with there. So here we are, my babes. Um, it starts, and then we get a little fun ball drop. Nick and Vanessa are like all 150 participants, or I don't know if it's all 150. She's like, it's a bunch of the people. This is what I think it is. Everyone in the audience of this Love is Blind tell all are past participants from last seasons. I can't imagine they got everyone. I feel like I watched on my computer. So I don't know if I caught this person, but I kept looking for Irina of Zach and Bliss. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so they do show us some people like Jess, and like they're like, hey, Megan Fox, and Chelsea's out there, Leo's out there, like they go through the couples, Brett and Stacy, Brad, Tiffany, Zach, Bliss, Chelsea, like Kwamu. Is that his name? I think it is. Anyway, God bless. So Chris, when everyone finally does their like audience interaction and audience introductions, of course, Nick and Vanessa do like the start of the show. And then, of course, it's bringing out the Ohio people. And as we know, Nick is from Ohio. So a lot of Nick's personal dignity and like how he wants to represent is certainly somewhat ingrained in this season, I think. And that's going to come out later and how he feels like men specifically from his neck of the woods should, be and have and how they should act with certain, I guess, morals like bro code, so interesting. So when everyone comes out, it's kind of this one-on-one dark toned fashion show. Again, the color skews are like muted gray charcoal burgundies. It's like it's an interesting palette. Chris comes out and he is scared shitless. His eyes are wide open. He looks like he is about to see a ghost slash have to go like into a firing squad. I mean, he really is scared. And I do feel like the fact that he shows up is a good sign. People could just not show up, I guess. And that would be ultimately like the shittiest sign. I wonder what their contracts stipulate for that kind of situation. So we start with Vic and Christine, because they are the most boring. And we are happy for them. And so kind of like Nick and Vanessa are a little bit like, look, we usually don't follow 7 couples, like we usually only follow 6. It's just that we chose you guys. We wanted to make sure we followed you, even though we knew you were so boring because we knew you were real. And that's the reason why they say that Vic and Christine didn't go to Mexico. They make it seem like this. Like they were like, they being Nick, they're like, the show only usually has 6 couples. We decided to do 7. Producers decided to do 7, but we could only take 6 to Mexico. And I don't understand how that could be true. I don't understand how you could only take 6 to Mexico. Like, I do not fathom the idea that the cost of production for an extra couple, like in an extra room or whatever it is, was so phenomenal that Netflix was like, nope, we just don't have the money. We'll say no to you, just like that we'll say no to like Paramount. Like, we're just like, what? I'm not trying to buy like, a week long Mexican, suite somewhere right now in this economy. I'm not. I just moved. But at the same time, there are very popular shows. Like, I'm like, what? Wait, why couldn't you? Who did you have to call? You couldn't call Ted, the like guy that runs Netflix, and be like, hey, it's Nick and Vanessa. Like, guess what? On this season 10 of Love is Blind, we need that extra 75,000 to have an extra couple on the show? Like, is Ted gonna be like, no, you guys? I mean, like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So, and also, they also went on a trip, to Malibu. Okay, so anyway, God bless. That's what they decided to do, and that's fine. Okay, then we move on to Jordan Amber. And Jordan Amber give us the oh fuck moment or the oh shit moment. But however, it happened so early on, and there almost is no like lead way up to it that I wonder if they knew that it was going to be tabloid or already known fodder, which is true. I already had said that the streets had said Jordan and Amber didn't make it. And certainly they didn't, like Jordan's like, it lasted 3 months. And then he laughs. He's so awkward laughing that Nick's like, are you okay, buddy? Why are you laughing? It feels like you shouldn't be laughing about that. And he's like, no, it was actually really sad. Just, I'm awkward. And then he said, with Amber, he felt like he had to repair a trust that he didn't break. And this is going to come back, honey. And we hear this before, which is that men don't realize men are nightmares, horrible people to females. Like they are. And I hate to say, like, you're like, no, you're not if you are. But the reason why is like, if you either believe and you either trust or you either accept that this is a patriarchal society, A. And if you do, great. Okay, because it's true. Then B, you have to be like, okay, and I, if you are a male, be like, obviously I get good things from that. I'm the PA. I'm the PA part of that, like so then you're like, okay. So then there's a lot of, and I say this a lot of feminist guys will be like, yeah, so there's the patriarchy and women just have it so bad. And that's why, when we go out to dinner, we'll 50-50. And it's like, well, fuck you. You're supposed to believe that patriarchy exists, that you benefit. So this is one of the points you can help us. And you're just going to be an asshole and lazy about it. True. And the other thing that can happen emotionally is this: the ways in which women have to like maneuver for their lives and then also have to contend with men's emotional maturity, as well as their like real contingency to lie to themselves and therefore to lie to others, like to not want to see the truth about something in them and therefore avoid it as possible when others see it. And it's like that kind of betrayal to what is present is hard for women to get over. And I think that like when trust has been broken, men, I feel like, go into another relationship like, well, I didn't hurt this woman, but it's like, bitch, you fucking hurt someone else. And this is just the cycle. And like, if you could just learn now how to behave in a way with someone you should be caring about that makes them feel safely secure, then you wouldn't have this problem. But men, I think like Jordan and I feel like Alex or whatever, refuse to want any responsibility. Jordan, by every account, is a lazy person. He might not want you or him to think so, but he is. And I think that every choice he's made shows that. They're like, I don't want to be with a child. Oh, wait, they're great. I think that he's just like, I just want to be able to cook and, eat whatever I want and have them be okay with it. When he does something, this Amber Jordan thing gets really bad fast. She says that he expected a wife on weekends and that he never wanted to like actually show up, move in and be an part of her life, someone who she comes home to and whatnot. And he's like, well, you came over here for weddings. It's like he wanted her to drive to his house as much as he was driving to her house. And she was like, no, we're married. You should be moving to my home. Then he says, so then she goes, he expected a wife on weekends. He expected a wife to show up and look good. And he's like, yeah, like at the weddings you went to. He then says that she got blackout drunk when he was the best man at someone's wedding and that it was very embarrassing and that she wanted to drive home and that he had to like take her keys away and put her in some, whatever couch. And then she gets really upset and she like walks off or whatever. God bless. It's like not over that, but it's like over about the child thing. Okay, let me get on. So that happens. And then she's like, that's horrifying. And then like that's really, that's very intense to call out. Now, did we talk about maybe seeing Amber being a little drunky on this season? Yes. Yeah. I do think that Amber likes to drink. Now, here's something that's very true. I think that it's hard to see yourself and it's hard to see how much you drink or how much it affects you. And I feel like drinking culture exists and then watching yourself after having drunk a couple of times on camera truly is horrifying. Like truly is bad. Like, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I drinking is fine. Like I like drinking. No shade. I know that certain generations don't. Like whatever it is whatever it is. But my heart to tell you is if you were ever on TV or if there's a camera around, do not drink. And the reason why is you never look good. You just don't. You look a little glassy. It looks a little like whatever. I mean, you can try. And I think you can, in the trying to look sober is how they know you're drunk more. And I hate it for everyone as much as I hate it for myself. I mean, I've been there too and I hate it. Like it's in real life too, the feeling of like, oh God, this is so ridiculous. I mean, whatever. Just side note is I can only have 2 drinks out, period, or whatever, period. So I mean, not and I'm not even talking if there's cameras around. I mean, out and about, that's it. So if I have more than 2 drinks, know that like I don't know what's gonna happen later tonight, and who knows if my choices are gonna be right. No. Okay. I was out the other night and then I ordered my second drink. And right then and there, someone was like, I heard it was your birthday. Wish it was. It wasn't my birthday that day. It was like 2 days after. And then the bartender was like, here's a shot. And then I took the shot and then just couldn't even, I had it. So I then took the shot with the bartender and just had to leave a full drink that I had bought myself because I can't have more than 2 drinks. And I'd already had my first drink. Knowing that I had that shot, I mean, what the hell? I can't. Okay. So, but it's hard to know that. And then it's also, if you haven't watched yourself on TV looking like slightly sweaty and slightly like glazed eyed and slightly kind of like, what's the word? Tipsy. It's hard. Anyway, I hated that for her and I hated that for him. And he knew to say it as a low blow. And she could say something else that was also, I'm sure, a low blow for him. And she didn't really. She kind of like, yes, he said weaponized her child, which is she was like, why did you let me like meet my child? Because you really did have a good relationship with Emma. And once you decided you didn't want to deal with this, you didn't even say goodbye to her. And this is where Jordan gets real fucked up. He's like, well, I didn't know I needed to. I didn't know how to deal with this situation. And it's like, oh, buddy, no, that's just simple fucking human decency. That if you in your soul, okay, here's the thing. The kind of thing where he's like, I don't know how to deal with that child and how to say goodbye is to me like the same flex as like someone who's going to ghost someone, which is that I did not know how to deal. It's who says it too? Like I didn't know how. Yeah, someone. I'll write a note later. I didn't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to deal with people's emotions, and so I just don't say anything. I mean, yeah, Jordan ghosted a child. I don't know why it's really hard for people to have dignity and just be like, I shared space and time with a soul. Amber, much less, like her daughter Emma, like I shared time and space with this soul. I looked into this human's eyes and I said things, and this person looked back at me and we laughed. And maybe we like shared a tender moment. Maybe we touched in some way. Again, it's like if that happens like multiple times and I'm assuming you can tell that the other person's genuine. Like Jordan has to assume that Emma's a child and therefore deserves like a certain honesty and vulnerability and truth. It's really shitty of him not to even understand that regardless if he's never dated a woman with a child, so he doesn't know how to deal with that the part of him that's a man, or I'm sorry, the part of him that's a human is like, I'm going to be open and honest with this person. Emma, it was really lovely to meet you. And I know this whole situation has been really different. Your mom and I went on a show. We met. We have this connection. We get married. You meet me. I cannot imagine what it's like for you. It's been so amazing having it with your mom and getting to know you through it. But I need to be honest that your mom and I aren't working healthily in the way romantically that she deserves and that I know you deserve to grow up in. And so even though it's going to probably be uncomfortable for me and your mom and you, and I wish it wasn't, like, I didn't ever mean to harm you, and I hope that we can be friends. Period. Is that hard? By the way, I just made all that up. Surely it was slow because I'm thinking of it now. I'm not even Jordan. Like, I don't even understand. Is it like I'm just speaking from like the heart of like what I'm assuming that character would say. You know, I don't know. It's that difficult. It's a child. So yeah, my heart hurts for Amber when she gets up and she leaves, and it's like she is leaving for like the thousands of men that she's tried to hope, oh, not thousands. I don't want to put that on her. For the men that she's opened her heart to that are not it. And he's like, don't weaponize that against me. Don't weaponize your distrust of men against me. Don't do it. Why is it so hard to show up with honor? I keep like, it's so funny because it's like, if you are single, I think that I wonder if everyone who's single watches Love is Blind and like tweaks their list of like, what do you want in a partner? Like, what do you need in a partner? Like, like I want someone who can clearly communicate. I want someone who direct, like I want someone who cares about people, who wants to do right by people and to do right by the world because there's some sort of like maybe belief that we all are either connected or that karma exists or to keep your side of the street clean or it's the way that like you were raised. There's so many ways to look at like I don't know how one composes themselves in society and how one maneuvers and behaves because like they think not that they think they should, although that's a part of it, is that they want to do this because maybe even like strengthens a pillar of who they are self-identity wise. Okay. So anyway, okay, so moving on. So then we get to this part where AD gets to run around. AD has a podcast. She gets to talk to Kia and Tyler about. I mean, they don't even really talk about his name, which is Kevin. They're like, "Hey, girls, hey!" They're like, "What happened here?" And they're like, "Well, Tyler was like, yeah, it was just pretty much like the vibe of choose yourself." And it was like, yeah. Then like there's like some girl with a Valley Girl accent. She comes back later, like asks Cameron and Lauren about a baby. And then it's funny, they go back to Amber and she like talks about because they're like, hey Amber, one thing about you is that you're real truthful, I don't know if it's like the sauce or whatever, God bless, but you have like that mom vibe, you're very truthful, like you really like gave the girls a lot of great mom, like I don't really think she's not that much older, but like a lot of like strength and groundedness, and all the women say that. I think they say that because she comes back in the room, they want to like make her feel good. It's like some people validate Jordan and then some people validate Amber in low-key ways where it's like interesting what was known behind the scenes. So Amber's like, here's the thing about Jordan. Jordan's whatever. Jordan isn't a monster. Like Jordan isn't Chris. Whoa, that one back there. No, I'm talking about that one. And then she's like, Jordan's fine. Like Nick and Connor, I like, and they move on to like Bree and Connor. And Bree and Connor are still together, which is great. We love that for them. They live next door to each other, so he gave up that house. Nick asks Connor what he thinks about Chris. And then they play the fucking kill it of like Chris, blah blah blue, obviously throwing his best friend under the bus to try and get that Bree. Bree looks very different. Now let's talk about two things. When they ask Connor what he thinks about Chris, Connor's like, never crosses my mind. And it makes me sad though, because we saw this too. He was like, later on, he's like, well, we were like, best buddies in the pod. We were like sat at the back of the bus together. We worked out together. So when I saw what had happened, I was like initially in shock. And that's when they get into bro code. Now, Bree, I think some girls get work done now. I don't know if you heard about it. But Bree, when she came on TV, I was like, what? I think there's a subtle nose job and there's some cheek filler, is what I would say the two things, if not a little also lip filler, that happened with Bree. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not a scientist. I'm not no Lori Hill. By the way, you know that Lori Hill, that YouTube Lori Hill, and what, she deleted all her videos. She doesn't talk about plastic surgery anymore. I mean, God bless. I can't imagine making my whole life about that. But also, her whole life was about that because she did it too. So maybe I could, because my whole life is about watching television. Okay. So anyway, okay, great. Have you liked this video? Have you thought about liking this video? Have you thought about giving it a thumbs up? I'd appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Always make sure to like the video after it's posted. Give it a little comment. I always comment back. Of course, you can listen to my podcast, Vanity Fair, wherever you listen to podcast, and give me 5 stars plus a helpful review. That's really great. You know, I'm on that social media, honey. I'm at Chris Elfera, all over the map. Oh, the platforms. And, you know, if I said I'm all over that map quest, I'm all over the map quest. Anyway, having said that, let's get back into this. So we have a weird kind of interesting moment where they do ask Brie, like, during this conversation with Connor, did you indulge him a little bit? And she certainly did. And at also times we realized that editing happened where it was just him talking and she's just there. Now, some of us would be like, can you not? Ooh, a super chat. Thank you. I forgot about him. Yay, Hawaiian dude. Thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you for my little super chat. I love a good tip. Anyway, thank you so much. That's really, really kind. I appreciate it. Let me go back to this question. Why can't you have 3 drinks? Were you on TV? No, but I had to drive home, and I did not, I had to drive home. Okay, so, oops. Okay. Chapsticks just falling left or right. I got so excited about my super chat. Thank you so much. I'm gonna leave that up. Okay, so, Bree says that she believes she should not have indulged him. I told you that she looks different. We go on to AD going on to more couples. We get a lot of Britt and Leo. We don't get to talk to Brittany, which is annoying for me because, like, I feel like she probably could tell us a lot of stuff. They always make it seem like they're together, but like they're not. I feel like they're best friends. I feel like he's gay. I'm not quite sure. So then there be 2 people, Joey and Sarah, are 2 people that are together now after the show. I can't remember them at all. God bless. They must have been on a season I somehow missed. I was like, who are you guys? Nick says, for things to work out, girls need to work. Okay. Nick says, Chris thinks, for things to work out, girls need to work out. And then Nick says, Chris, as a man, watching that back, all that shit you said, as an Ohio man, what went through your fucked up, shitty mind, Chris? I mean, basically that's what he said. And then Chris goes, well, I'm not proud of those moments. And Nick's like, I'm sorry, what? That's it? Sorry, was that a period? Did you try to put a period? Period? That's it? No. So by the way, during this time, Connor and Alex are both sitting together on a couch, and they sort of look like the 2 dunces in the back. You know what I'm saying? Or like the 2 like bad boys in the back. Like, it is hilarious. They're both like back couching it together. And they have to know. We move on. So, you know, obviously that's all, you know, he tries to like give some sort of like apology to Connor, and Connor's like, I don't care. And then they're like, well, do you have anything to say to Jess? And then Jess, before he has said anything to say to Jess, they move on to Jess, like, hey, Jess, what do you want to say? And she's like, well, he had deep insecurities. And it's funny because then they're like, well, what are those deep insecurities to Jess? And it feels like every one of us, from having watched the series, I mean, God bless, they're like, his height, you know, only because, again, God bless a short king, but they talked about that a lot on the show. So I thought she was going to say that, but she doesn't say it. And she says something even better. Even better. She says finances. She's like, he was deeply insecure about finances. And we find that hilarious because we remember when he was trying to like get with Bree, and he was like, yeah, you know, that Connor, that trash man Connor with his whole house that he bought couldn't do what I could do, which is take you to the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons I can take you to a Ritz Carlton or Four Seasons. Maybe if I have my mom's Marriott club card, I can get us into the St. Regis. I think it's a Marriott property. I'm not quite sure. But we could go to the club level on any one of those places. Like, what? Remember that? So when Jess says that, we're like, oh, great. So happy. Again, this is the Roman Empire, like gladiator part of me, like rip him apart. You know what I'm saying? I wish I wasn't this way. But my own trauma is that I think that men can be really evil and really mean. But have I had that happen to me? Yes. And am I going to even bring this up? Yes. All of my own point of view is from my own personality. And so if I feel some sort of extreme way, one way or another, you can rest assured that it hits some sort of personal trigger in me. And that's the way it is. Okay. So, so God bless. Nick says that after he saw Jess's home, she's like a doctor and like everything that she had, that he disappeared for 2 days, like a la Devante, you know what I'm saying? And like, he says that, yeah, no, it wasn't that. He was just like emotionally immature and put physical above mental connection. They go, okay, well, Jess, what do you want to say to Chris right now? Oh, I don't want to say anything to Chris. Nothing? I'm sorry. You think I want to say something to him? Babe, no. Blech, no. So they're like, okay, Chris, what do you want to say, to Jess? And then he does say something where it feels vulnerable. And I will say this, he does say this in a way where Jess, as she's listening to it, is taken aback that it even is remotely accountable or makes him feel at all like low, because this is something that Alex would never say, would never like show his underside or like show any weakness in this kind of way. So, okay. So he's like, I just, I don't know if I will ever have that type of emotional connection again that I had with Jess in the pods. And Jess is like, yeah, it's like my thing. Like one of my gifts is like, I don't have to tell you, excellent bedside manner. I create magic wherever I go. And I have to tell you, my name is Jess. I save lives. I I walk into rooms and I make people feel seen, good, warm, held. I make people feel special. That's my name. I'm Jess. So it's interesting that like you thought you had like such a great connection. It's just like, yeah, like, that's what I provided. And I just can, deny access as fast. And I do. Like I saw him later. I never talked to him. It's yeah, it's so I really do sometimes wish I could be like a male therapist's assistant, because I would love to hear what these men truthfully feel like because Chris is giving us a lot of like verbiage that I feel like makes him look better than he is, and Alex for sure doesn't get vulnerable at all. Like what these men truly think and how they truly make decisions. And I mean, I would love to know. So basically, we move on and we get this interesting thing where Ashley, Priyanka, and Bree have like a friendship. And because of that, there are moments where these girls are kind of shitty to other girls. And the first happens here. We remember the scene, which is basically when Chris, after saying that Jess is whatever, not his physical type for whatever, she doesn't work out, he's telling these women the situation. And when he tells Ashley, and like he's like, yeah, she just doesn't work out. Instead of Ashley being like, I'm sorry, what, buddy? You're not into her because she doesn't have like a hard and fast workout schedule? Are you looking at yourself? Ashley didn't, right? Ashley was like, oh yeah, she just doesn't like work out every day. Yeah. Ashley wants to be like, I just didn't hear and understand everything. And we're like, no, girl, we knew what you were doing. You agreed that there were like certain differences and that somehow you thought Chris was okay and pointing them out because he could comment on women's bodies, especially in a way that made him feel like he was worthy of someone different looking that you all co-signed in that moment. That's the moment that happened, bitches. And I feel like all those girls, including Brie, can be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I maybe could consider side-eyeing it, but it happens again, doesn't it? And when it happens again, I know you girls are fucking bitches. You guys are mean girls. I mean, this is my opinion or whatever, and God bless. And if I ever hear this or read this, I mean, I don't really care. And this is just what I'm seeing in the tell-all. I think that you girls should look at the way that you value other women. You certainly have like a pick me quality. And I will go into how like Devonte and, Brittany obviously go into this and that stupid concert. And they could all be like, well, we were just all friends or whatever. But I don't think that's true. I think that you know things. And I wonder if there was Priyanka or someone that wanted to hook up with Devonte. Like, who wanted to hook up with Devonte? Was it Ashley? Because Priyanka then later on is like, yeah, he wanted to stay at my Airbnb. And I was like, no. But if he came thinking that he was just going to willy nilly stay at Priyanka's Airbnb, I wonder if there had been flirting between him and her. And therefore, he thought, what a very fun, easy, free weekend he was going to have. Literally free. Just like jumping into someone's Airbnb. How fucking gross. Getting off the plane and being like, oh, mine didn't actually commit yet. Oh, weird. Weirdo. Get a hotel then, I guess, right? I don't know, buddy. Use Chris's mom's Marriott fucking card and see if there's a St. Regis, buddy. Is there a Bonvoy anywhere? I mean, okay. Anyway, what do you think? What do you think? That's what I want to know. Do like I want to know if everyone's catching this or if I'm in my own like, Sweet Valley High world. Okay, God bless. So basically, as I said, it was really hard because Jess, who is incredibly strong throughout this thing, and I know I jumped back and forth as we're going back to Jess now. I talked about Devonte. She's crying over the fact that Ashley like didn't fucking stand up for her. And Ashley's like, well, she's not morbidly obese. Yeah, she's not even fucking close. Ugh, what a world we live in. Yeah. So then she says this. It's hard because a man tried to like tear me down in front of everyone. And my wording for females is to do as much due diligence of self-work that you can so that if and when this happens, and it will and it does to everyone, that you have the fortitude to withstand it. And when I have like a traumatic memory of like being in grade school. And that happened to me. Like, I wouldn't say a man tried to tie me down, like a little boy tried to tear me down in front of my class. I had just moved to a brand new school. And this little boy like was like, Chrissy, do you want to be my boyfriend or whatever? And I didn't understand that like boyfriend meant fucking boyfriend because I'm in this is such a shitty story. I skipped a grade. I was in fourth grade and I skipped fifth grade into a brand new school. And then like one of the first days, one of the boys was like, Chrissy, do you want to be my boyfriend? Honey, I didn't understand what boyfriend meant. I thought literally like a friend that's a boy. And I said yes. And he was like, ha, Chrissy, now we're going to be boyfriend. Chrissy wants to be my girlfriend. And whatever the fuck he said, right? And the whole class laughed. Such a small moment. But when she says this line, it came running back to me because, of course, trauma does that. Because of course I didn't, and I would never have had the capability to like have the mental fortitude to withstand that. Maybe unless I had brothers growing up or someone that like really knew to be like, fuck off, stupid little boy. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I didn't. I was an only child. I was just like so sheltered that I didn't understand that was just whatever it was. I really took it to be like super personal. I also would later on realize that I have ADHD and also later realize that there's this thing called like rejection dysphoria for people. Anyway, all this to say, the next scene happens of Love is Blind Tell All. And it, to me, is the best scene in the entire Tell All history. And it felt like the end scene of the best 90s rom-com possible. Oh my God. So after this, right? And Jess has like been betrayed, and we had to watch Chris, and she, even her shitty, like that shitty blonde friend, and like Bree, who are like the popular girls. Like for some reason, every guy like, oh, what the for like, except for Alex, who doesn't like Ashley, which now makes me LOL a little bit. Fine. After all of this, it's like they go to this nice looking guy who's in the audience. His name is not hormonal, but home like something like that. And he had been in the pods, and he is a doctor. I'm not quite sure his ethnicity. It's some sort of Manasa. I'm just throwing out there, you know. I can't ever tell. Like I literally, you know, I am 100. Yeah, you know this. I'm 100% Syrian Lebanese. I can sometimes tell me. There's so many times I'm like, "Are you me?" And that person isn't. They're like Moroccan, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, sorry." You know, not sorry, but sometimes you know people can be like angry if you got it wrong. But I'm like, "I thought you were me. Oh, I am sorry." You know, God bless. And having said that, then I also can't tell at all. I don't know. I'm ignorant. Okay, so even though I'm from the region, kind of, well, American, you know, just help. Let me move on. So he's like, yeah, I'm dating someone, and that person's on the stage right now. And the person on the stage, of course, is Jess. And they had like a pod relationship. Now, at this point, I'm like, fucking play the goddamn tape. I don't know why they wouldn't play the tape. But they're like, yeah, we met up, and, you know, we just started talking, and we both are doctors, you know, just making so much money and just so busy. And we would just like connect and talk about our days, and it was really easy. And I don't know, we was like hanging out one time. He's asked, I just like came over, and I was wearing sweats, and then we just talked for like 5 hours. And then he did the thing where he was just like, I know what I want. I want you. You're amazing. And he says this, he's just like, Jess is amazing. I'm going to paraphrase, but he's like, Jess lights up every room she walks into, and everyone sees it. She makes worlds better. There is a life before Jess, like, had no meaning. She is everything. She's so wildly awesome and intelligent and cool, and just happens to be like in a hot ass package. I mean, he says it, and it's so lovely to hear in every way, and it overwhelms Jess, and she cries, and I cry. It's so, I mean, obviously it's great, right? It's really great and really, you know, redemptive. And that's why I feel like it's like a rom-com. Like that's like a scene in a rom-com. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it'd be like the scene, I guess, where he then tells her that he's in love with her, has been in love with her the whole time. Okay, so I was so happy for her, and you know, I'm like, if they get married, like they should, like, I hopefully they'll have like a lot of, you know, either Instagram followers or whatnot, and they can just like create a great life and have multiple streams of income, which is low key, I guess, what Chris is insecure about. So everyone wins. Yeah, they keep trying, like, you know, Nick really goes at Chris, but like by goes at his, like, in a way that is trying to be as you're nothing. Okay. Nick tries to be like, you're shitty and nothing, and you have a lot to go, you little guppy, without being so mean. It's also kind of interesting because Chris either toggles between not wanting to have any specific accountability being, you know, being given or taken, and then tries to like jump on a sword. Neither of them feel really genuine. His face, the hotel all really looks scared. We don't know what's happening with him. I don't know if he's dating anyone, you know. And off camera, of course, we got a woman on TikTok who had like done, you can look this up, TikToks being like, he's crazy. That's, I mean, obviously I'm like using my own words, but she just didn't like him. She said she spoke ill of him. The reviews were bad, as I would say. It was like, it was not well received that Chris in this relationship with this one TikToker on this video. You do your own research. I can only do what I'm doing. Okay, so speaking of people that are moving on, they move on to Mike and Emma. You know, Mike's whole thing was like, you know, Mike wanted Emma to like be like, I'm gonna have kids, and Emma was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And then like, you know, and then Emma was like, yeah. And then till we got to the wedding, and then I was like, yeah, I do, to you and the kids. And Mike was like, and I was supposed to be like, good. Let's get married. Nah. I was kind of like, nah, I want someone to like be in it, be actually in it, not just make like a decision willy nilly. And then it's interesting because we see that right next door to Hormonal is his new girlfriend. And Emma sees this person too. And Emma doesn't look happy. I wouldn't say Emma looks not happy. She looks upset. I'm not quite sure if Emma's moving on or has moved on. Like it's always a little difficult to be like, how long ago did this happen? Because it feels like it happened a year ago. And sometimes it's interesting why it takes so long. Anyway, then they have this transition. She went from giving him those eyes to looking for lies. And that's of course to Ashley. And then Alex moves on and says that he felt like they tried to trap him early on, like in that dad scene. And it's interesting. He's like, and I never lied. And Nick's like, so wait, you never lied about anything? And he's like, no. For some reason, Alex has a big tell when he lies, which is that he looks down. Even if he's called out for looking down, he'll still do it. Fucking Ashley's dad is like, you look down. He's like, at the stake. And then fucking Nick on TV is like, did you lie? And again, Alex is like, no. Here's the thing. I don't even know exactly how you do that. I'm guessing, and because I'm not a psychopath, that you have to like, okay, you have to train yourself to lie well. And you have to train your body to give no tells. You have to know what all the tells are. Then you have to train your body in real time somatically not to give them. And then you have to somehow also watch yourself on multiple instances, I'm assuming, or have someone watch you to make sure that you're not doing that thing. Because even let's just say the thing is like, oh, what, you look down when I lie? Are you lying? No. Let's say you master being like, no. Then you could be like, okay, buddy, but you also now have added in a fucking nostril flare. So almost go back to looking down, because staring at me with big ass buggy eyes and then also having a nostril flare looks like not only are you lying, but you're about to eat me. I mean, I don't know how you to try and like squash all of your tells is probably interesting work. I mean, I'm assuming all the detective people, all the mafia people, honey. I mean, I'm assuming if you're a poker player, whatever this is you do this shit. It's like, I'm assuming I probably should have done a lot of this like neutrality work, if that's what we're calling it, in a way, as an actor, to try and get to some base level, but I certainly didn't, which is probably why I've never been a great theater actor, is because I just, have to put on whatever character that already lies on top of Chris Farah, which is a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of movements. Anyway, so he's like, no, I never lied. And then they're like, well, why'd you go on the show? He's like, well, I wanted to go and find a wife, but I never saw one. And then I fucked it up. And then Nick Lachey's like, well, you wouldn't have, buddy. It's called Love is Blind. And then Alex has to be like, oh, you got me. And that one is like the only moment of somewhat weakness Alex is willing to show. And they jump on him for that. Like they really do. For this, I will say, they're like, buddy, you have a wall up. Like you're not real. Like all of your answers of every question sound super fake. They sound super rehearsed. They're too perfect. He's like, is that a problem? They're like, yeah, buddy, they're not. And the fact that you don't know what's a problem is a problem. The fact that you think the perfect answer is to be perfect and not real, sincere, grounded, truthful, or genuine is a problem. And it's like, not to be actory about it, it would be the same, I guess, like, I don't know how to say, like, if a young actor was like, I did the scene perfectly, you're like, well, what does that mean to you? It's like, I did the scene the exact way Meryl Streep did it. I did it every way she did it. I used every one of her intonations. I did her eyes. And you're like, oh, so you think you did the same perfectly is what you're telling me. You're like, the person's like, yes. Like, well, I would go to say, no, you didn't. You didn't have one truthful moment in the scene, actually. There wasn't one moment where you were at all you or your this character. You weren't even and you present. You were, I don't know, you were pantomiming a dance. You were I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not quite sure what you did. It wasn't truthful. It's like the same kind of thing in the way that you have to process that, and the way that someone of that age doesn't understand the difference or why it would be necessary is like somewhat scary. I find it somewhat weird. I'm like, I'm just like those two, Chris and Alex. There always seems to be, versions of personality disorder esque style people on this show. It's just, I think that one thing is that maybe, yeah, like there's just a lot of people walking through this world dealing with a lot of stuff. And so you really, I hate to say this, have to be on guard all the time. I wish that half of me could be like, yes, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust people. Like Tennessee Williams said it, and it's true. You have to trust people, just like Alan Cumming quoted that Tennessee Williams saying. You do, or this world is hard to deal with. It's hard to live in. At the same time, people are unfucking trustworthy. And that's where I think my trauma comes in as a female, because I feel like, and look, there can be some that, have penises. But at the same time, it's not just the penises. I wouldn't trust Brie, and I certainly fucking wouldn't trust Ashley. Not at all. Not at all. Anyway. Okay. So when Ashley has to deal with the fact that, Alex didn't find her attractive, he's like, yeah, well, the physical thing, that was just the first domino to fall. She's like, well, it was so crazy because you liked me so much until you goddamn saw Brittany. And he's like, yeah, well, it's hard. It's kind of like what Jordan said. It's like she had so much trauma that I didn't want to have to fucking deal with because I didn't fucking do it. And it's like, yeah, bitch, because the woman that you traumatized is dealing with, like, is with someone else now, and some asshole doesn't want to deal with your trauma. What a horrible cycle. Oh my God. The only way to break it is for females to sniff them out and then not ever breed with them so they don't pass on their genes. They don't make more. And then we can just get, I don't know, I just want neurodivergent, honest people, like I just want people who like aren't afraid of like being direct or saying how their heart feels sometimes. Ugh. Or just like knowing themselves. I'm not saying I want someone who just like, yeah, it's so hard for people to know themselves and just be like, oh, no, thank you. I'm good. And I'm sorry to waste your time. There's so many ways in which, this doesn't happen, right? I've already like gone into it. My God. Anyway, we get to, obviously a lot of Ashley and him and how she dealt with the wedding, which was that obviously she knew she didn't want to marry this lying asshole. And he contends that there were no lies. It's just that she always tried to make sure that there'd be lies if the cameras were rolling. And so thusly there was. And I didn't want to have sex with her because, she always was trying to like nag me. And she's like, really? You don't want to have sex with me? Like the time we were like massaging each other in mud and then we came home and you were like, peace, I'm going to go hang out with a friend. And he's like, yeah, you were supposed to just wait for me. And she's like, I was supposed to wait for you? And he's like, yeah. Don't you remember, bitch? I told you I was a real MAGA. And yeah, I'm a man. And I told you my political things say that if I want sex, I get sex whenever I want. Yes, from you. And if I don't want sex, you just sit there and wait in your pretty lingerie and you don't eat until I tell you that you can eat. And at this point, also dye your stupid blonde hair. My name is Alex. I get what I want. Like that is like the vibe. I mean, blah, blah, and I don't even want to like Ashley. I don't like Ashley. But I mean, at this point, thank God something happens where Ashley's like, yeah, so I fucking woke up on the wedding morning at 6 a.m. with my best friend by me. And I had to open my note app and my phone and type out a dissertation on why this asshole doesn't deserve to breathe. That's what I had to do. Sent it to my dad. He proofread it. God bless. And yeah, I knew that they were going to allow him to go first. And I said, fuck that. And so I went first because I didn't want him to reject me on TV. And he's like, so? She's like, yeah. So I'm not going to date potential. He's like, well, I did what I had to do, which is react with professionalism. This man is like devoid of, how would I say it? Like warmth and humanity, professionalism. I mean, that makes me feel like, yeah, what are you just like, yeah, because you're on a television show? You're a professional reality show star? And I'll be honest, that's not true. Because if you wanted to act professionally as a reality show star, you would have been messier. Anyway, that's what Tiffany New York HBIC would do, and that's how she became who she is. Okay, that's why she's on multiple. That's why she had her own show. Okay, God bless. That's why I can still quote her today. That's why 40 years later, HBIC. So then, in like a low key shade, Nick's like, "Hey, buddy, hey, Alex. One thing we might have heard about you is like, what's that game you like to play? What's the sport again? My God, basketball. Football. Oh, was soccer? Is that it? Is that it?" Alex has to be like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah. So, why don't you just, I don't know, give us like a metaphor using soccer to talk? I don't know if that's too hard for you, buddy." I did like it. Like fucking Vanessa's like, this asshole. So Alex was like, yeah, great. So the Liverpool tie match. Oh. It's funny because I'm assuming that Alex knows that he's being made fun of in that moment. And Alex really wants to be like Mr. Calm and Cool and confident all the time, that I'm surprised that he even allowed himself to answer that question. Yeah, they're like, dude, you're not like a vulnerable person. You don't lead your guard down. He's like, yeah, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, like even right now, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. It doesn't seem like any of this is landing. He's like, no, I appreciate words. Okay. So at this point, I want to tell you this. They were like, okay, well, what's happening with you? He's like, well, I moved to Austin. Oh, no, I moved to Arizona. Sorry, too many A's. I moved to Arizona and I have a new roommate. And we're like, oh my God, it's the fucking girl. And we're like, who is the person? And the person is Devonte. Okay. And now they're playing soccer together. So stupid. Let me tell you this. Why didn't the producers try and get his ex? And even if they, okay, I would want them to tell us that they tried. Because you could be like, well, girl, they did, and she wouldn't come. And I want you to be like, then tell me that. I want to know that the producers did their due diligence to try and get Alex's like girlfriend that kept moving to like Austin and the one, whatever, blah, 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 like that one. I want her to try to come and like corroborate Ebony's story to know if he's lying or not, or to say that he lied in her relationship. Like that is what has to happen. Like, it's interesting because to me, like bringing on Chris's ex or bringing on like Alex's ex surely would be a messy move, a messy ass move. But I'd love it. And I feel like they don't do that is maybe a choice, but can they consider, or would Love is Blind do something even messier, like consider an after show where like they get someone like me to interview those people, to talk about those people? Just wondering. I mean, would you? I mean, okay. Would you? I mean, I'm just saying, would you? I don't know. They would have to be good interviews. I mean, if someone's a nightmare, you would just be like, well, that person was also crazy. Okay, so and you're like, well, Chris, they didn't sign up for this. I'm like, yeah, well, they would have to say yes. And also, maybe Chris would come on and can talk to his ex in real life about what happened. Maybe they can have like a forgiveness redemption tour. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this could be really healing. You tell me. So basically, they move on to, as I said, Brittany, Devonte. Devonte's living with Alex. And she's like, yeah, I fucking trusted him when he said that he loved me. So that whole time when I was like, yeah, we're supposed to be together and this is what's supposed to happen, and I was like pretending that we were in love, is because I thought we were in love. And so when he turned around on camera and like acted like I was, I don't know, a shadow, and he was weirded out that I had my own wedding dress, which I told him day fucking two, then that's on him. He should have got out then. And she's right. She's right. He's gross. He really is. She was surprised by the things he said because, as I said, he is not direct. He says because he's afraid of hurting people. Yeah, it's Jordan energy. Lazy ass energy. I wish Chris would look at fucking Jordan and goddamn Devontae and be like, hey, buddies, where's your workout schedule? But he doesn't. But he doesn't. So we don't have to talk about Jordan or fucking Devontae's workout schedule. I'm not trying to body shame, but those are two men that don't have one. Meanwhile, Jess, we talk about her workout schedule and she has a job saving lives. So just that's why it's hard in this world. And if you don't get that, then fuck you. Okay, moving on. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So then we get to this messiness and we'll get over this. So they're like, yeah, he fucking kept telling you, Brittany, Devonte, that he was like kind of in this relationship and kind of not. And meanwhile, on camera in confessionals, very much had made his own choice. It felt like he was gaslighting you. And he was like, yeah. And he let her on, which was true. And she's like, yeah. But the thing is, that's not even what makes me upset. It's that he went with Bree and Ashley and Priyanka to some concert, Rufus. And when it happened like this. That week, he was being distant in his own weird nothing box where he just wouldn't tell her what he wanted, which that he didn't want to be with her. Why he wouldn't tell her, who knows? Like, why you wouldn't just say it? He can like, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. You're wasting her time. And then on top, the wasting, okay. To be disrespected, to think that your time is so not valuable to someone that you would waste it because you mean nothing to them, that hurts a lot more than someone being like, you know what? I've had some time to really process the fact that my heart has changed. And I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Like, I know that it sounds like it's hard and painful, but like the respect you give to that person and the time that you spend and all the words that you shared with that person, like all of the connection, like the honor you give, all of that by just being truthful is such like a beautiful thing. It's so shitty to just be like, yeah, let me tell you later, or I'm not quite sure, or I'm just trying to work it out, which is what he did. He is like, yeah, no, she's like, okay, come, if you don't want to be with me, tell me. He didn't tell her. He goes on a weekend with three girls to a concert where the whole weekend he's like, yeah, we're broken up, but they're all friends in the same circle. They can find out truthfully if they're not. She even says, Brittany's like, you bitches knew that I still had my engagement ring on. And those girls were like, yeah, but he said, then we get a little bit about how he thought he was just going to stay there for free in the fucking Airbnb and try to use that they didn't confirm thing is so gross. He's so gross. Truly, that I get, of course, why he's living with Alex. And I think it's like hilarious because he must be like, Alex is such a big, tall, hot guy. Get to do alpha on, he my little alpha Alex, get to live with my alpha Alex. But I feel like fucking Devontae things. I hope, dear God, that like the smart women in the state of Arizona see them and go fucking running. And I know there are going to be a lot of stupid ass women who are like, famous man. One's moderately attractive. One has different colored eyes than than you see. We'll fuck them. It's hard because I think that like, yeah, there's a lot of people in this world and there's a lot of like hormones and loneliness and there's a lot of like want and desires and there's a lot of liars. So and that's why people keep having kids. Anyway, so thankfully, Brittany's dad tries to like really be the voice of reason in the room by being like, Devontae, you're getting a lot of venom. It's because you deserve it. You have some work to do, but also I feel bad for you. And that is true. At the same time, though, he's getting not any like I was gonna be like, Brittany's dad. Do you have anything to say to, I don't know, Alex or Chris? Because if you think Devontae is getting venom, I mean, fucking Chris is being strangled alive by a goddamn cobra, and then also like slaughtered by many rattlesnakes. I don't. The man has venom all in him. The man may never live again. So anyway, it's interesting though because yeah, like Brittany's dad's like, I have one question for you. Did you lie to me when you said, "Are you ready to marry my daughter?" And Devontae's like, "Well, I I said I thought I did. I thought I wanted that at the time." And then Devontae is like, turns out I was right. I always wanted to be a husband, a father because I'm gonna be a father. And Vanessa's like, "Oh, okay. Are you are you also being a husband?" And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna start by being a fiance." Oh, okay. So you knocked up some girl, buddy? Thanks. How long has that been happening? Like Alex, like just like yeah, the Alex effect. Oh my god. Is out so if Alex and Devontae are living together right now, seems like Alex is gonna have to find another fucking place to live unless I don't know they're all gonna live together with that baby. And also, why isn't the woman there? Devontae's baby mama surely did not show up. She's not sitting in the audience at all. Unless I missed her. You tell me. Because I saw all the other, like, stupid TurboTax bullshits. So, I mean, you tell me. Okay. Basically at this point, I know it's like boring or whatever. Yeah, I mean, Bliss and Nick. Oh, sorry, Bliss and Zach have a baby. It's going to be a baby boy. Irina is nowhere to be found. Okay, that was the end. I have to tell you. Let's move on to Traitors. You guys, Traitors fucking happen in a crazy way. As we know, as we went down, Rob ruled the roost. And there was no one in his path. And the whole time, we were like, does Moira know that he's a traitor? Or does she think that she can win with a traitor? I didn't understand if that was what she was thinking, or if she just didn't understand how the game went. But what had happened was, of course, Eric and Rob are the traitors. Mark Ballas was left. Tara and Johnny were like, we're friends. Guess what? And they had to try and get Moira on their side. And Tara tries over and over again, and Moira somehow thinks she's going to, but then doesn't. Moira over and over again is like, I don't know how I'm still here. And it's like, you're still here because, Rob, the traitor, she ends up becoming like the most important player in the game. And time after time, we just have to watch her take the last vote and be like, girl, okay, well, here's your chance. Can you make a team with Tara and can you try and save yourself because you're about to lose? No. Are you going to, like at least try and, vote out Rob at the end and like see if you can get it yourself? No, she doesn't try. All she tries to do is low-key try and get Rob to vote out Eric. And Eric is a little shady with her about that. And I wonder why she doesn't pick up on that. She's just so happy to ride in a helicopter and keep eating the hard-boiled eggs. Tara the whole time is like, oh my God, this girl. Like, Tara got herself in a situation where she didn't make any big moves fast, and all her moves were, there weren't a lot of strong, faithful moves. Everything that happened were either heavy-handed, like Colton, like putting all the emphasis on Lisa being a traitor and then being, the second-hand man to the actual traitor in power, Rob. So, and Candace, who was our only, like, traitor who we felt like had the capacity to think in multiple steps ahead ways, didn't. And I think that Candace low-key said that there might have been some things that happened off camera that made it hard for her to move the way she wanted to. And it's interesting because Ron talked about some of the racism he felt from from Dorinda. And I wonder how palpable certain feelings and things were off camera they're not showing us. However, obviously in the season, once Rob got power and had, the special power of having the dagger, everything sort of became really boring. And certainly, I hate to say this, the finale was too. It just kept being on Moira to be like, Moira, can you change the course of destiny? And she's just like, nope, Rob, nope, Rob, nope, Rob. Rob, I trust. We pinky promised. Therefore, I think that, listen, if I pinky promise you, then you better know that that's it for me, you know? And it's so interesting. She's just like, we're going to win this game, us faithfuls. Why did she think that it was Tara and Johnny? Why would they give two traitors like friends? I guess she thought one of them had recruited the other. The recruitment, that's the problem with Tara and Johnny lying about their friendship. Because when they came clean, it was conveniently around the time one could be recruited, and then just became messy and never made sense anyway, because we all assumed people would know that they were friends. They host something all the time together. In fact, as this finale airs, we're literally watching them, give really beautiful commentary on the figure skating that happened this year. Oh my God. I really enjoyed that so much. Okay. So here's the thing. So obviously Tara and Johnny are gone. Obviously it gets down to the final three, and that's Eric, and that's Moira, and that's Rob. And Moira wants Eric gone, and Eric thinks that him and Rob are going to win in the end and split the money. And Moira thinks that she's going to end up with Rob, who's not a traitor, and therefore going to split the money. Or somehow she thinks that Rob is a traitor, and therefore that's why she's alive, but somehow thinks they're going to split the money in the end. I'm not quite sure. She doesn't understand the rules, but here it is. So they start to vote people out, and Eric's like, yep, no more traitors here. And of course, Rob and Moira are like, no, bitch, there's a traitor. And then Eric knows that Rob betrayed him. So then Eric's like, you shouldn't trust Rob, to Moira. And Moira's like, what? And then Moira's like, I pinky promised that guy. And so she does. She gets rid of Eric, and then she's like, great, we did it. And then of course, nope, she's dumb. She in one moment is like, yeah, we won. And then she realizes that Rob is a traitor, and she's like, now, I would feel bad for Moira, except for the fact that she's literally everywhere now. What a press tour. My God. And she wore such fabulous clothes the whole time. So Eric is kind of like, upset, and he feels like it's a bad look for Rob to betray him. Rob's like, oh, no, I don't know any of these people, so I'm definitely going to keep the money myself. I told my sister I would do that or something like that. But I guess Rob had also told Moira that he would buy her a Birkin, and so she went on Watch What Happens Live, and he gave her a Birkin. She wasn't upset though. She kind of was like, he played the game. He played the game well. That Rob, he tried to say tinks like her, but it was hard. I found this interview that Eric gave, and I want to show some stuff because I thought it was interesting. Okay. First of all, what is your skincare routine? This is them asking Eric. Give us all the details. Eric is like a K-pop star / music person. And so, my God, here they are. Well, first off, I always do my skincare routine twice a day, morning and night. I start with a double cleanse using a cleansing balm by Then I Met You, and then the Rose Posay Lipicare AP Plus Gentle Foaming Cleansing Oil, which you can find at any pharmacy and or all of the Paris ones. Then I use the Celamix Jiwoo. I don't know how to say it. I'm butchering this. I'm sorry. Exfoliating pads before going in with the Torridin Dive-In Serum. For moisturizers, my newest find is the Dr. Riju All Barrier Cream. And if I'm feeling really bougie, buddy, I get a good discount on it. I use Balm 27 by Cosmetics 27. And for the lips, I use a balm from a Korean brand that is just making its way to States called Nonfiction. It's a lot, and I don't do it all this every day, but when I do, I feel up for it. Okay. And they were also like, What was it like getting ready every day on set? Was it stressful, a little spooky? It was stressful. I think the hardest part was that we had to wake up super early and stay up super late. If you look closely throughout the season, Rob and I look increasingly worse because we're not sleeping. The traders have to stay behind, filming everything in the turret, plus shooting the additional B-roll of us walking around the castle. We then have to wake up with everyone else. And that's true. I remember like seeing specifically Rob like in the last days, like being like, one more. They talk about the food in the breakfast because we had so much of the salmon talk and the egg talk. And Eric hated the food there, and definitely the black banquet. No one wanted to touch the meat. There's just a bowl of cold, wet, hard-boiled eggs that everyone's sticking their hands in. If you saw me eating that, it's because I desperately needed protein. There was smoked salmon, but I didn't even know about it until the end of the season because everyone would eat it so quickly. I mean, I think that was Moira. Every day I was like, where are my rations? But then with all of that bland food, they randomly imported passion fruit to this remote castle in Scotland. What's going on there? Oh my God. I just, by the way, side note is I found guava at a Whole Foods. So I got guava. I was like so happy about it. And like at the first bite, I was like, guava. But the seeds, I didn't realize the guavas like have such seeds. I don't like eating them seeds. But my God, I bought a juicer. So I literally had taken a bite out of guava and didn't like it because of the seeds. Put it in a plastic bag and I was like, Chris, juice this tomorrow morning. And I did. I made like a normal green juice, like put a bunch of fucking spinach and kale and celery. So it'd be like, whatever, getting that in. And then I put in a pear and a guava and like a little bit of lemon. And it was so good. Like the guava, that one guava had so much juice and it was so tasty. I can't even deal with it. It's like, oh my God. I now need guava all the time in my life. Anyway, um, I would love to audition for the Traitors. I think it's like the only reality show I'd want to be on. Only because I feel like I want to look fabulous all the time, but I would really hate to like be voted out first. And I feel like I would have to do like a rigorous training program. That's what I always feel like about Big Brother is like, if you are on Big Brother, like it's like to me, you have to train for a marathon, like, and it's really a triathlon because you have to do like all of the other things, like mental stuff. Like I think you should get good at like concentration, focus. I would start taking like supplements, ginkgo biloba, whatever it is, real fucking fast. But then, yeah, I would have to do all the physical training to become a comp beast, right? And in Big Brother land, it's like stability. Like you have to have like stability. You have to like hold on for something for a long ass time. You know that like at some point you're gonna be like holding on to something and water is gonna be spritting in your face. Like you have to have like mental fortitude. You have to, whatever. Having said that, there's a part of that that's kind of in the show too, because you can win things, you can have advantages if you're good at things. It's interesting that like the biggest advantage Rob got, besides being a traitor and having the people that were traitors with him in the beginning, was that he got the dagger. And the dagger he won because he got to win it, becoming first in a variety of early little games, and then playing a mental game of finding out who's lying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I just talked about Love is Blind, obviously. And in that whole episode, there's like so much talk about lying, obviously. We talk about how Alex lies, and I'm Ashley's dad talked about it, all that. And it's funny because then to talk about traitors, Rob gets the dagger from Natalie because she lied and he could tell. So if you go on this type of show, you better be brushed up on reading people's behaviors and the games they play and like the way that people act. Oh, it's a lot of work. You have to prep. Oh. Anyway, my loves. That's basically what happened at the end of both of those shows. I mean, goodness gracious. I'm happy that we had two fun like weekly shows to like dive into and so different. I like one is fun competition, like over the top extravaganza and treachery, and one is weirdly composed and fake in some ways, but also belies like, human behavior, especially when it comes to like romantic settings, enough for us to talk. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just both. I think, yeah, both seasons of both shows were good. Is what I'm trying to say. And I will also say this: I didn't love when Rob won because I thought that it was going to happen so early on. It would have been great if Tara had talked Moira into realizing that she was around only because her biggest ally was a traitor and that keeping him was going to fuck her over, but she never did, you know. Would have been great if she did. But at the same time, you can't win them all. I'm still happy that Kia and Tyler didn't go with Kevin. And I'm happy that even though Ashley isn't my favorite, Ashley told off Alex. And I'm certainly happy that Jess had her like Phoenix moment, finding hopefully a relationship with someone who like truly sees and values her. Oh. God, I wonder if Bree and Connor are gonna make it because I feel like Connor's a good guy. And I wonder if there's gonna be a moment where he realizes that Bree, I don't know, has a darkness to her. Maybe he does too, and I just don't see it. All right, my loves, let's breathe together and, let's go on our merry waves. Thank you so much for having spent any time with me. It's always fun to like listen to what you guys are saying. No, not a lot of talking. It's hard to trust people when they're fucking clinically unstable people who can ruin your lives. Men and women need to be vetted. Yes, we need to find an ex. Chris can interview her. Yes, it's true. Yeah, my love. And there's toxic people everywhere. Truly. It's not just men, although that's why I kept saying, we all have our trauma. So I was triggered. And it was because I told you, Jess said that thing when men tearing women down in public. I was like, oh yeah, it's hard. But she, again, has a beautiful redemption story, has a beautiful love story to show for it. And that's all we can hope for everyone, All right. You can follow me. I'm at Chris L. Fair, wherever you, I don't know, follow people, social media, maybe. It's Instagram, it's TikTok. I have a Patreon, I have a Substack. You can follow me at, I'm sorry. You can follow Facebook, Chris Farah, as well as the Vanity Farah Facebook group. And then other than that, let's do our breaths. Thank you so much for being here and obviously subscribing, following, liking, commenting after it's going up, giving it a thumbs up and a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts like Vanity Fair on Apple and Spotify. 2 breaths. 11 people in the room. It's 9:24 p.m. Thank you so much for being here. Wow. One more. I just got to do a live with a bunch of lovely people. I just got to spend time in space with people. Thank you so much for, sharing your time and energy with me. It's why I won't ghost you, because I appreciate that we came together here. What a great moment /hour 23 minutes to have had. I'm so thankful. And yeah, it's been like I would say, a highlight of my day. All right, my loves. So truly take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. Thank you so much, Hawaiian Dude, for this. And also, thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see you all later. Okay, babes? Bye.